Welcome to the Crypto Visionary Network's Explainer. Today we're embarking on a journey into a truly fascinating corner of the digital asset world, Cardano. Whether you're just starting to explore a blockchain or you've been in the space for a while, you've probably heard its name, seen its symbol, perhaps even owned some. But what is Cardano, really? And what makes it tick?
That's a great question, and it's precisely our mission today. We want to demystify Cardano, starting with its foundational concepts for anyone new. Then we'll progressively peel back the layers, get into its more technical and strategic aspects for those already a bit familiar. We'll explore its unique history, what problems it's designed to solve, how it actually operates, its strengths, weaknesses too, and the community driving it forward, what really sets it apart in, well, a pretty crowded field.
Okay, so think of this as your personal guide to understanding Cardano, designed to give you those aha moments without, feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. And before we begin, just a quick note for everyone listening. The information we're sharing today comes from various internet sources, and some use AI in their creation. So while we aim for accuracy, mistakes and misinformation can happen. Remember, nothing discussed here is financial advice. This is purely for educational purposes. Always do your own research and apply common sense.
Sound advice. So let's start right at the very beginning then. For anyone just stepping into the Cardano universe, what exactly is Cardano at its most fundamental level?
Right. At its core, Cardano is a public, decentralized blockchain platform. Think of it like a global digital infrastructure. It's designed for building and running a new generation of applications, what we call decentralized applications, or dApps. Its native cryptocurrency token is called ADA. That name honors Augusta Ada King, Countess of Lovelace.
Ah, the first computer programmer.
That's the one, widely regarded as such. And fittingly, the smallest unit of ADA is called a Lovelace, allows for very granular transactions.
That's a nice historical touch, yeah. When did this project actually get started, and who's behind it?
Okay, so development began back in 2015. The public launch was in 2017. And what's really notable is that it was the largest crypto to use a proof-of-stake blockchain right from day one. Its development and promotion are kind of structured through three independent bodies. There's the Cardano Foundation. They promote and standardize the ecosystem. Then Input-Output Global. IOG used to be IOHK.
Right, the engineers building it.
Exactly. They're the engineering company building the blockchain itself. And finally, Amergo, which is its commercial and venture arm focused on adoption, investment, partnerships.
Okay. You mentioned proof of stake. Many people have heard that term, but implementations vary quite a bit, right? What's significant about Cardano's approach, especially compared to something like, say, Bitcoin?
Yeah, the difference in approach is really fundamental. It's a game changer, honestly. Bitcoin, as most know, primarily a peer-to-peer payment system. It uses proof of work, very energy intensive, involves mining. Cardano, on the other hand, was built from the ground up as a blockchain ecosystem for developers, and it uses proof of stake via its Ouroboros protocol. This mechanism relies on staking. 80 holders commit their tokens to help secure the network, validate transactions, and they get rewards for it.
And the big impact there is energy.
Massive impact. Drastically reduce energy consumption. Just for context, back in early 2021, estimates put Cardano's network use at around 6 GWh annually. That's less than 0.01% of Bitcoin's footprint at the time. So this energy efficiency isn't just a bullet point. It's core to its design. Makes it feel more sustainable.
Okay, so it's decentralized, proof of stake, and wow, very green. But how does it all actually work under the hood? What are the architectural choices making it tick?
Well, the design philosophy itself is quite distinct. It's often called a research-first approach, meaning major upgrades, features, they're built on scientific principles and go through rigorous, peer-reviewed academic work first.
But very methodical.
Very methodical. And this leads to a key feature. It's layered architecture. It basically runs on two main layers. You've got the Cardano settlement layer, the CSL, that's optimized for value transfer moving ADA, other tokens, secure, fast highway for that. Then there's the Cardano computation layer, or CCL, that's where smart contracts, tokenization, dApps happen.
And separating them is the key.
That's the clever part, yeah. Decoupling value from computation. It lets the CSL stay lean, secure, while the CCL handles more complex stuff without dragging down the whole network.
That definitely sounds robust, designed for resilience.
Yep.
Speaking of which, how does the consensus mechanism, Ouroboros, handle staking? What are the nuances there compared to other POS chains?
Right, Ouroboros. It was pretty groundbreaking, the first provably secure proof-of-stake protocol. With Ouroboros, ADA holders delegate their tokens to staking pools. These pools act as network nodes. Validators are then randomly selected based on their delegated stake to produce blocks and validate transactions. They get rewards for this service.
Okay, standard staking rewards. But what's different?
Here's a big distinction. Cardano does not use slashing.
Slashing. That's penalizing bad actors, right? Taking their stake.
Exactly. Some chains do that. Cardano doesn't. Instead, the protocol uses economic incentives to encourage rational, good behavior. Plus, delegators always keep full control over their staked ADA. They can switch pools easily.
Why no slashing? What's the benefit?
Well, the argument is that it lowers the barrier to entry, makes it easier for smaller stakers, smaller pool operators to participate without the fear of potentially huge losses from slashing. This helps prevent power concentrating with just a few large players who can afford those risks, so it intrinsically supports better decentralization, theoretically.
That's a really interesting design choice. Beyond the consensus, are there specific programming innovations or like data models that stand out?
Absolutely. Cardano uses something called the Extended Unspent Transaction Output Model, or UUTXO.
UDEXO. Okay, how's that different?
It's quite different from the account-based model you see on, say, Ethereum. It's specifically designed to prevent state bloat. That's where the blockchain data just grows excessively large over time, hurting efficiency.
Right.
And a major benefit of EUTXO is how it handles native assets. Unlike ERC20-style tokens on other chains that need complex smart contracts just to manage them, native assets on Cardano are treated like first-class citizens right on the ledger. Makes them cheaper, easier to use, more secure inherently.
Simpler integration then. What about the languages for smart contracts?
Yeah, for development, Cardano uses a powerful trio: Haskell, Plutus, and Marlowe. Haskell is the foundation. It's a functional programming language known for writing really robust, high-assurance code. Think mission-critical stuff. Plutus is the smart contract language built on Haskell. It lets developers interact directly with the blockchain. And then there's Marlowe. That's a domain-specific language, DSL, tailored specifically for financial contracts, designed for enhanced security, guaranteed completion.
Wow. Haskell, Plutus, Marlowe. Sounds very rigorous, almost academic.
It is. That emphasis on mathematically verifiable languages. It's not just for show. Think of it like building a bridge with mathematically proven steel beams versus just hoping they hold. For big enterprises, governments, that kind of verifiable correctness isn't just nice, it's crucial for trusting potentially billions in assets on-chain. It could accelerate real-world adoption where reliability is paramount.
Okay, it definitely sounds like Cardano is built for serious real-world applications.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate vision then? What's driving all this meticulous engineering, and where is it being applied today?
The original vision was, frankly, incredibly ambitious: to build an inclusive, fair, resilient infrastructure for financial and social applications globally. A core aim is bringing reliable, secure financial services to the literally billions of people who currently lack access to traditional banking or economic identity.
The unbanked.
Precisely. Charles Hoskinson, Cardano's founder, often talks about building a financial operating system for them, empowering the underserved. It's designed as a system where you ideally bring more value than you take, addressing those scalability and inclusivity issues seen in earlier blockchains.
That's a very powerful idea. Can you give us some solid examples? Where is this vision actually becoming reality beyond just the theory?
Yeah, it's fascinating to see the research translate into tangible projects. For instance, back in 2018, IOG signed a major memorandum of understanding with Ethiopia's government. They explored using Cardano in the coffee supply chain, bringing transparency to a huge export for them. And they also worked on developing an identity and record-keeping system for 5 million school students. That's national-level stuff.
That's huge, yeah. Any others?
Definitely. Georgia's Ministry of Education uses it for credential verification, making sure diplomas are real, tamper-proof. New Balance, the shoe company, piloted Cardano for tracking shoe authenticity, fighting counterfeits.
Even big brands.
Yeah. And even in entertainment, the DJ Paul Oakenfold released an entire album, Zombie Lobster, on the Cardano blockchain. Shows its versatility.
Okay, so beyond those big government and corporate partnerships, what other kinds of applications are really flourishing in the Cardano ecosystem right now?
Well, the tech's being adopted across a really wide range of industries now. You see it in crowdfunding, providing transparency and assurance. Smart contracts can automate fund returns if goals aren't met. NFT marketplaces are big, offering secure, efficient platforms for digital art, collectibles. Smart contracts can simplify complex things like the mortgage process, automate cross-border payments using letters of credit, even streamline legal contracts, making them self-executing, reducing risk.
Then gaming, too.
Yeah, in gaming, we see it used for managing esports teams, automating payouts based on performance, things like that. And of course, there's a rapidly growing decentralized finance, or DeFi, ecosystem. Projects like Strike Finance, Liquid Finance, Fluid Tokens, MinSwap, they even have a stated goal, quite ambitious, of becoming a sort of DeFi layer for Bitcoin, highlighting its interoperability aims.
We've heard a lot of impressive stuff, a lot of positives, but no project is perfect.
What are some of the hurdles or challenges Cardano faces, and what core strengths keep it moving forward?
That's a crucial point. It really comes down to how Cardano balances its pretty lofty ideals with practical implementation in a space that moves incredibly fast. On the strength side, it's widely seen as one of the most decentralized blockchains out there, especially if you look at how block production is distributed compared to others.
Okay, decentralization is a key strength.
Absolutely. And it's non-custodial staking where you always keep control of your ADA, plus that rigorous, research-driven design contribute massively to its robustness and security. And you really can't ignore the community. It's vibrant, diverse, incredibly passionate. You see sub-communities forming around projects, lots of active engagement in governance debates.
Right. So given those strengths, what about the criticisms? Or the areas where Cardano is maybe still developing or catching up? Yeah, the main critiques usually circle around scalability and, sometimes, the perceived pace of development. Currently, Cardano's mainnet throughput is relatively modest, maybe around 7 transactions per second for simple transfers, and maybe 1 to 4 TPs with smart contracts involved.
Which can lead to congestion.
It can, yeah, during peak demand times. Now, solutions like Hydra, their Layer 2 scaling protocol, are designed for very high-speed transactions, but for specific use cases. Think like a group of users in a poker game needing fast settlement amongst themselves. It's not necessarily a universal speed boost for all dApps, especially complex DeFi.
So Hydra isn't the single answer for everything.
Not for everything, no. Sidechains are also on the roadmap for scaling, but they bring their own security considerations, naturally. Critics sometimes argue Cardano's been a bit slow implementing certain ideas, maybe focusing on tech like state channels that other ecosystems experimented with earlier and moved past. This leads to a perception, fair or not, of being untested by actual users at scale.
That's a common concern for chains focusing heavily on research first. So how does Cardano respond, especially to the speed and adoption criticisms? What's their perspective?
They really stick to that measure twice, cut once philosophy. They prioritize the thorough research, the robust, mathematically verifiable design over just rushing features to market. The argument is simple. This deliberate approach builds a more secure, stable foundation for the long haul.
Security and decentralization first, speed later.
Essentially, yes. They acknowledge other chains might seem faster now, but they believe building trust through security and decentralization is paramount, and that trust is hard to regain if you lose it by rushing. And major scaling solutions are in the works. Things like input endorsers are expected to significantly boost throughput, potentially up to 10,000 transactions per second, while still maintaining decentralization.
Input endorsers, how do they work, briefly?
Think of them like dedicated express lanes. They allow many transactions to be processed, sort of parallel to the main chain's bottleneck, boosting speed without sacrificing the core security. Remember the development eras: Byron, Shelley, Goguen, which brought smart contracts with Alonzo, Basho, scaling focus, and Voltaire, governance. The move into Voltaire, starting January 2025, is huge. It marks the system becoming fully decentralized, community-governed via things like CIP 1694. Control shifts to the users.
Okay, that's the roadmap. Beyond the tech and philosophy, how popular is Cardano in the broader crypto world? What kind of mainstream attention has it gotten?
It's certainly seen significant growth since 2017. It hit an all-time high value, became the third largest crypto by market cap back in 2021. More recently, it consistently ranks among the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. It holds a pretty significant position. And an interesting sign of public perception, in an August 2022 report on brand intimacy across 600 brands, Cardano ranked 26 overall.
26th against all brands.
Yeah, it was the highest ranked cryptocurrency at that time in that specific study. Suggests a certain level of connection or positive feeling among users.
Interesting. Has it faced other major challenges? Made headlines outside of just tech updates? Maybe regulatory stuff?
Oh, yes. It's definitely been part of the broader regulatory discussions, particularly in the U.S. In 2023, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, filed a complaint against the Kraken exchange. Part of it alleged Kraken offered unregistered securities, and they specifically mentioned Cardano staking.
Ouch. How did that play out?
Well, Kraken settled. They paid a fine, stopped their U.S. staking program for various assets, including ADA at the time. Later, the SEC also sued Binance, again alleging Cardano was an unregistered security. That's an assertion that IOG, Cardano's engineering firm, strongly disputes.
Right. Is it a security debate?
Exactly. These actions caused some temporary price dips, and platforms like Robinhood even briefly delisted then re-enabled ADA trading. It just highlights the ongoing regulatory uncertainty facing many cryptos. Charles Hoskinson himself has been pretty active in trying to shape U.S. crypto rules, arguing for clear policy through legislation, not just temporary orders.
Okay, so regulatory headwinds are definitely part of the landscape. Well, we've taken a really comprehensive look at Cardano today. From its fundamental philosophy, that research-first approach, to its ambitious real-world goals and the challenges it's tackling. It seems clear Cardano is much more than just another cryptocurrency. It feels like a project with a deep, almost academic commitment to scientific rigor, decentralization, and delivering real utility, especially for those underserved by traditional finance.
That's a perfect way to put it, yeah. Whether you're drawn to the robust engineering, that big vision of a decentralized global financial OS, or the, frankly, fascinating dynamics of its community governance, Cardano offers a unique perspective. It's trying to build, as Hoskinson sometimes says, an elevator instead of a staircase for adoption, aiming for simplicity and broad impact, even with all that complexity humming away underneath.
So after this explainer, what really stands out to you listening? How might a blockchain built with this level of deep research and long-term vision potentially impact digital identity, finance, maybe even your own community? We definitely encourage you to explore further, maybe dig into some of those real-world projects or check out the community discussions we touched on. Thank you for joining us on this explainer from the Crypto Visionary Network.